So guys, the reactions for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings are here. They dropped last night after midnight and I'm here to talk about them to you right now. But of course, this wouldn't be a martial arts video if I didn't do a karate chop to the camera. So here we go. So guys, if we're going over to comicbooks.com, this is an article by Adam Barnhard, a man who never sleeps, my kind of guy. And this is the reactions, the social media reactions to Shang-Chi. Now remember, these are reactions, not reviews. The reviews, I believe, do not come out for another 2 weeks. So here we go. We're just going to roll into it, people. So Shang-Chi is a movie that ended up on a wouldn't it be great list, where wouldn't it be great if we could do this as a movie? Probably 20 years ago, says Marvel's studio head Kevin Feige, who previously told that to Rotten Tomatoes. It's a great story of a young man that realizes his father is essentially one of the world's greatest supervillains and one of the world's greatest criminals. Of course, we heard about the Mandarin in the first Iron Man, I believe. I might be wrong about that, or it was alluded to anyway. We will try to forget about this Ben Kingsley version of Trevor later on, although that was quite funny, I thought. So anyway, a lot of these reactions I am seeing are talking about the action that you've never seen before. I seem to remember as well that when Black Panther came out, Marvel were headlining the fact it was the first black superhero from Marvel, and actually it wasn't. That was down to Wesley Snipes and a certain 1998 film called Blade that was made by New Line Cinema, by another Guardian newspaper, and other quality online newspaper publications corrected that fact. So BD, Brandon Davis BD. So Shang-Chi is awesome. This movie hits all that Marvel does well. Pacing, humor, character, and adds action like we've never seen from the MCU before. Double hand clap there. Lots of people are about to have a new favorite Marvel hero. Darker than expected, loads of fun, integral to the MCU Phase 4. So I reckon what's going to happen, Shang-Chi is going to be part of the new Avengers lineup going into Phase 5. So, you know, that's pretty much what they're shaping him up for. The Illuminati. Shang-Chi is the perfect balance of fun, action, and heart. And when I say action, I mean jaw-dropping action. See, a bit of hyperbole there already, but we'll wait to see on that one. Simu Liu is the perfect addition to the MCU. I kind of like the alliteration of Simu Liu and MCU. See what I did there, or tried to allude to? That's a pretty epic poster. They could do some more better posters than that, actually. He kind of looks a bit fed up there, poor Simu. Never mind. But I guess that's because of that stupid comment that Bob Chapek mentioned over the last few days about Shang-Chi being an experimental movie. There could be underlying tones of, I'm not going to say the word, it begins with R, but you know, that's a little bit exaggerated on my part. But Bob Chapek is useless anyway. They should just get rid of him as soon as they can. Anybody's interested in the shareholders' welfare more than the fans who pay the money to see these films doesn't deserve to be in a position of CEO, especially when you have someone like Bob Iger, who is obviously a lot more respectful and respected by the people that he worked for at Disney. So Josephine speaks. I'm emotional and absolutely in love with this movie. I'm ready to watch this again and again. Also, hot damn Tony Leung and Simu Liu. Tony Leung, I mentioned this in my reaction a couple of days ago. You know, if you haven't seen Infernal Affairs or In the Mood for Love, you don't know what you're missing. That man is a phenomenal actor. So there's pictures of the premiere there, which looks really, really good. Wendell Zaney. I'm always mispronouncing her surname, so I feel so bad. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is phenomenal in upper caps. Get hyped. Even fight scene action sequences are better than the previous iterations. Liu finally embraces the Marvel superhero role. Amazing imagery, killer soundtrack. You'll want to see this on the big screen. Yeah, the big screen is going to be the super screen for me in Cineworld. Unfortunately, the IMAX, it seems, is never going to open again, which is just so annoying. So I can't do much about that, I'm afraid, but I kind of agree that. And yes, she's correct. The imagery that we've seen thus far in the trailers, especially the first trailer, man, just knocked it out of the ballpark. I mean, the villain with the kabuki mask on, yeah, it reminded me of a film called The Kabuki Man back in the, I think it was the 1980s 80s or 90s. Now, they're kind of infamous movies for different reasons. POC culture. I watched Shang-Chi. He forgot the hyphen between the Shang and the Chi, but never mind. It's an amazing blend of East meets West. Hong Kong martial arts action comes to the MCU and changes the game. Notice I didn't say the end game. That would have been, weird. It's emotional, beautiful, and hilarious. This isn't like any MCU film to date. Wow! That should be a Christopher Walken. Wow! Marvel MCU, Shang-Chi, and Marvel Studios Simu Liu and Awkwafina, who I like Awkwafina. She's good. She gets a bad rap, but she's actually a really funny woman. So I like all of that. Kristen Acuna. Shang-Chi is fantastic. It is full of incredible, beautifully choreographed fight scenes and full of badass women, which is something I've always advocated. You can have a badass woman. She doesn't have to go and pump 9 irons to the gym. She can just be beautiful and feminine and still kick all kinds of ass. Get ready to know Simu Liu's name if you don't already. Marvel has another hit on its hands. I will contest Miss Acuna that it's the first hit Marvel will have on its hands this year. Forget the drivel that's been on the streaming platform of Disney Plus, and forget Black Widow. That was just a terrible, terrible movie. Come on, you're going to tell me that Olga Kurilenko, who weighs 7 stone, gets into armored gear that you can see clearly was inhabited by a stunt man, and we expect to believe a CGI headed woman over that body was Taskmaster all along? Come on, get out of here, Marvel. You can do better than that. Don't fool the fans. Eric Goldman, I really dug Shang-Chi. There is a lot not in the trailers. Maybe avoid ads in the next couple of weeks. I fear they will show more, and it has its own vibe and distinct elements that make it stand out and not like a standard origin story. Liu makes for an awesome hero, which is always a good thing to hear in my books. I'm just checking to see that my mic levels are playing up because they weren't before. Okay, so the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton and produced by Kevin Feige and Jonathan Schwartz, with Luis Desposito and Victoria Alonso, along with Charles Nerwith serving as executive producers. David Callahan and Cretton and Andrew Lanham wrote the screenplay for the film, which is currently set for release for September the 3rd. Well, I mean, it's going to be released on September the 3rd. There's just no question and doubt about that. But there's one reaction they didn't share on here because it's a video reaction, and I'm going over right now to John Campia on his video channel, which is really awesome. And John, he makes me laugh because when he does these reactions coming out of a theater, it's very hyperbolic, he's very excited, he's very amped. And if you don't believe me, we'll watch this together now, and I'll give you my thoughts and views after this. So here we go.
Okay, so just got out of watching Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. It's fucking awesome. Okay, so it is part, I was just telling somebody else, it is part mythological epic, it is part Shakespearean family tragedy, and it is part martial arts masterpiece. Best martial arts I've seen in a film since The Raid, best comic book movie I've seen since Logan. That's my initial reaction, full review in a couple of days, but this movie is incredible. Go see it.
Now, on those wise words of John, I am going to say, I mean, come on. But he says 2 things there that, man, this is hyperbolic stuff. So he said it's the best comic book movie since Logan. And I love Logan, but I find it's a very hard film to watch again and again. You've got to be in the mood to see old man Hugh Jackman as Logan. But yeah, it is a terrific film. And now to say that he thinks it's the best martial arts since The Raid. I mean, for me, The Raid 1 and 2, they're just like, there are big chef's kisses all over. Those films were shot in Indonesia, if I'm remembering that correctly, so they really did set the bar for new martial arts action movies, because we haven't seen anything like that in the West for a long time. And don't forget, those films are directed by Hugh Evans, a Welshman, who is married to a Taiwanese. He's married to a lady from Thailand, so he's got all those credentials. And it's a shame they can't make a third film to make it the Godfather trilogy of martial arts, but it is what it is. But to say that Shang-Chi matches that, I will say the only thing that might go against it, because the Raid films are like hardcore 18 rated movies. They're like hardcore action movies. What they have to do with Shang-Chi, if they've done it correctly, is to take those hardcore elements, blend it into a PG-13 acceptable fare. So you can get away with hard punches and kicks without bloodletting. That could happen. I could see that being a thing. That could be the new trademark for Marvel going forward. God knows they need a hit, because again, Bob Chapek making us ill-advised comment about this film being an experimentation in terms of the pandemic and its global release. I believe this is going to get a 45-day release again before it goes into streaming platforms, but I really hope this film does well at the box office. Again, I'll be seeing at my Cineworld in Wandsworth, which is the super screen. Again, the IMAX, I don't know what's going on with them anymore. I'm kind of giving up the ghost on that venue ever opening again. But guys, that has been my reaction today, my hyperbolic reaction for the reactions to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Simu Liu looks like a really cool, awesome dude, and I can't wait to see them doing their blanket of reviews and interviews for the press in the next few days. It should be awesome. God knows we need a little bit of a hit now, especially for Marvel. And again, you know what? The last thing I'm going to say is I've been watching a lot of dramatic films recently, offline. And I think like the only dramatic superhero films that I've seen like from Marvel would be like the first Iron Man, the Winter Soldier, and I'll probably say to maybe a lesser degree, maybe Infinity War. You know what? They should have ended the MCU on Infinity War, because then to reboot anything else afterwards would have made a lot more sense. But you know, having Endgame, it just felt like a bit of a tack on, really. You didn't really need it in the end, but that's just my thoughts and opinion, folks. So if you enjoyed this video today, do give it a like. You just smash that or karate chop that like button, and I'll see you on the next video.
Hasta la vista,